present his budget tomorrow at Overton High School for the state of schools. Ms. Pierce and I had an opportunity on yesterday to meet with Dr. Joseph and Mr. Henson to review the details of the budget. Our budget aligns perfectly with our strategic plan and its initiatives, particularly in the areas of our people and our students. As has been communicated by the mayor and the council, this is going to be a very lean budget season. However, it is our responsibility to, as a board, to let the public know what we need on behalf of our children. Over the next 3 weeks, board members will have an opportunity to ask questions and provide feedback on the budget. Our next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be held April 9th at 5:00 p.m. and on April 12th at 4 o'clock p.m. The following tonight's board meeting, the public will have an opportunity to share their needs and wants with us at a public hearing on the budget. There will be an additional opportunity for public comments and to give feedback on the budget at the public hearing on April 9th and on April 12th. In addition, you can give public comments on our meeting during public participation at the April 10th board meeting. This gives the board and the public multiple opportunities to provide feedback on our budget prior to the board voting on the budget at the special called meeting on April 16th at 5:00 p.m. Thank you for your continued support of our children as we develop a budget that accelerates their learning. At this time, I will turn it over to Chris Henson, who will review the budget request. We will also have a presentation from Dr. Tony Majors because a large portion of our budget focuses on social and emotional learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter, and good evening. Everyone, I believe, has a copy of the first draft of the budget proposal for the 2018-2019 fiscal year. And I emphasize first draft, realizing that there will be probably several iterations of this document as we go through this process that will ultimately end with the Metro Council approving our budget sometime in June. If you'll turn to the first page, you'll notice at the top it says document number 1. This document should be familiar with all of you. We've used this same format for a number of years. And this document, I'll spend probably more time on it than any other because it reflects a summary of changes from our current 2017-18 budget to the proposed 2018-19 budget. And as we've discussed in some previous Budget and Finance Committee meetings, we always include at the top our compensation proposal. And we are proposing in this budget draft a 2% salary increase for all employees plus a step increase for all employees that qualify for a step. The total of the 2% raise and the step increase for all employees totals approximately $18.2 million. We also have included the increases for our certificated insurance plan, which is governed by our Employee Insurance Trust. Our Employee Insurance Trust is made up of 3 school board members, 3 M&EA representatives, an administrative representative, and a representative for the retired teachers. The Employee Insurance Trust voted for a 7.9% increase to premiums. The Board of Education pays 75% of the premiums, and the employee pays 25% of the premiums. So that increase is estimated at approximately $6.3 million. All of our certificated employees are required to be members of the state retirement plan, which is the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System state plan. And we have been notified back early on, and I shared this with you previously, that there is an increase in the employer contribution rate to the certificated retirement plan, going from 9.08% of payroll to 10.46% of payroll, which represents an approximate 15.2% increase to the employer contribution rate, which results in an increase to the budget of approximately $4.7 million. We always take into consideration what's called Fica Savings, which is where employees have their insurance premiums deducted pre-tax, and so there is a savings to the employer, to the district for that, as well as just normal vacancy and turnover that we see throughout the year, and we reflect that on the front end. So total employee compensation, we're estimating at approximately $24.6 million as an increase, and that's a net number, net of all additions and increases as well as reductions. In the middle part of the page, we have our inflationary increases, and we are keeping right now with $2.4 million, which is the amount that was included in the current year budget, which mainly represents increases to charges that we receive from Metro government, also to what charges that we receive as far as cost escalations in long-term contracts, et cetera. We include here also our increase regarding our charter enrollment, where we will be transferring funds to the charter school fund based upon an additional estimated 1,188 students, plus an increase in the per pupil amount, going from an estimated $9,600 per student in the current year to an estimated $9,800 per student in the next fiscal year. We also recognize the fact that we do have an enrollment decline from the original projections this year, and so we show that as a reduction of $7.2 million. The bottom part of the page reflects any changes. And as we've previously discussed, you can see close to the bottom where we reinvested that $7.2 million back into the student-based budgeting formula as an enhancement or enhancements to our allocation model, particularly in the areas of special education, where we've increased the allocation in student-based budgeting formula by approximately $5.2 million, and our English learner weight, which we increased from a 21% weight to a 24% weight, which equates to around $2 million. So the $5.2 million additional for special education and the $2 million additional for English learners represents this $7.2 million increase. We also have some other changes that are reflected here that we'll discuss in more detail. Many of those are in Dr. Major's budget, and he has a presentation because there are some adds, there are some moves, there are some repurposing of positions, and there are some reductions in positions. And so it's a little difficult on a budget document to explain that. It also includes some federal Title I funding, and so he's going to be presenting that at the conclusion of my overview. We've also included in our proposed changes an increase to the paraeducators' pay grade. We are proposing an increase from pay grade 4 to pay grade 6, which is about a $1.3 million increase to the budget for our paraeducators. We also have in account 2314 our increase to our health services contract with the Metro Public Health Department. Our Metro Public Health Department provides nursing services to all of our schools, and so that is just the increase to the contract. Another large increase is in the area of textbooks. Next year, or this year for next year, the current adoptions are science, which is a large adoption, fine arts, physical education, health, and wellness. And so we are projecting an increase of approximately $2.5 million to the textbook budget line, which is a reduction from what had originally been requested. And we realize there are going to be additional needs in the area of our textbooks, particularly with the science adoption, but we are proposing a $2.5 million, approximately $2.5 million increase in this budget proposal. The remainder of the positions, we are increasing or proposing an increase to our Human Resources Department to add 4 talent acquisition partners who will work exclusively to recruit additional teachers to our school district. And if any questions relating to those, I'm sure Ms. Story can answer those. But the remainder of the positions that you see here between student support services, central school counseling services, social and emotional learning, and community achieves will all be addressed in Dr. Major's presentation as it relates to social emotional learning. And then we have at the bottom just various throughout the budget, throughout the different line items, additions and reductions throughout the budget, which is actually reflecting a decrease of approximately $3.8 million and a decrease of 28.5 positions. So overall, the net change in number of positions is a reduction in the number of positions by 9.5 FTEs, so a reduction of 9.5 positions overall in the budget. and the proposed increase is approximately $44.7 million, which represents a 5.1% increase over the current fiscal year budget. Any questions on the summary page before we delve into some of the details? While, again, intended for this to be an overview, but happy to answer any questions if you have any at this point.
Yes, there's going to be, it looks like a projected loss of students again. It looks like it's 7.2 million. How many students does that account for?
Actually, what this does is it takes into consideration the projected number of students that we projected to have this year compared to the projected number for next year. We're actually proposing or projecting a flat number of enrolled students for next year based upon what we currently have. But this is when we looked at what was initially projected and what was initially allocated through the student-based budgeting model compared to what's being projected for next year. That's representing the 7.2 million. I don't have the exact number of students.
You get that for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
So the paraprofessional upgrade, what does that translate to in pay for the paraprofessionals?
It's going to depend upon their experience. I don't have the pay scales in front of me. We can provide that to you.
Okay.
It is an increase of 2 pay grades from the current
Okay.
pay.
Okay.
And so we'll be happy to provide that to you. It's on an hourly rate.
Okay.
So if you'll turn the page to document number 2, we always provide a detailed document showing position changes. This does not reflect, as you can see from the asterisk in the note at the bottom, this does not reflect any positions that are just moving from one account to another. But these are actual position changes. And at the top, we have positions reduced. And again, many of these will be further discussed by Dr. Majors in his presentation. So we are reducing a .5 position that's a retired individual in the Office of Student Assignment. That is being reduced. The current charter school office, with the new law that was passed, which allows for school districts to collect what are called authorizer fees from our charter operators, and they are capped at a maximum of $35,000 per charter school. We are moving the charter school office to what's called a special revenue fund. And so the charter school office plus other associated costs with supervising and monitoring our charter schools, those will be charged to the special revenue fund where funding dollars will be coming in to the district from our charter operators based upon that authorizer fee. And so we have the executive officer for charter schools and the coordinator for charter schools as well as the secretary. All those positions are moving to that special revenue fund out of the operating budget, and they will be funded with those authorization fees. We have a reduction of 16 truancy specialists, and there is another offset at the bottom, which I'll get to in a moment. A reduction of 7 social worker positions and a reduction of 12 family involvement specialists. As far as positions added, I mentioned earlier the 4 talent acquisition partners in our Human Resources Department, 2 coordinators and a director of school counseling that Dr. Majors will be talking more about, an additional homebound teacher, the 8 truancy officers, which will replace the 16 truancy specialists, and again, Dr. Majors will discuss those further, 4 SEL or social emotional learning specialists, 1 comp specialist, 2 behavior specialists, 4 community engagement specialists, 1 Community Achieve Specialist, and 1 Community Achieves Manager. All of those will be discussed by Dr. Majors in more detail in a moment. Again, this is showing a reduction in overall positions of 9.5. Any questions at this point on the position changes? So I'll turn to document number 3. This is, again, one that we always include. What we try to show is for our 10-month support employees, we try to show the work calendars that they have based on number of student days. There are 175 student days. All of our 10-month support employees receive 16 paid time off days for vacation and holidays, paid where they don't work, but they receive pay for 16 days, as well as some days that they work where students aren't in session for orientation, training, and administrative responsibilities, resulting in the number of total paid days. We're not proposing any changes for next year. It would be the same as this year, but this just breaks down the work calendars for some of our 10-month support employees. Document number 4 shows the detail of our 4 early learning centers, which is account number 2328. As a reminder, the Cambridge Early Learning Center, as referenced by the asterisk, is funded by the federal pre-K expansion grant, but you can see the individual budgets for those 4, actually 3 that are in the operating budget, early learning centers. And that has its own separate account of 2328 that you'll find in the line item budget.
Chris, can I ask a question? I'm back on document number 2. The community achieves positions that are being added. Are those going to be central office positions, or are those in the schools?
I'll let Dr. Majors
okay.
respond to that.
All right.
If you'll do that when you come up, no, when you come up later. We'll just make a note that needs to be answered. Document number 5 just breaks down the budget for our 2 alternative learning centers, which are found in the detailed line item budget in account number 2600, the Johnson ALC and the Bass ALC. Document number 6, I know it's a little hard to read. It's our 8 non-traditional schools, which are found in account number 2650. Middle college or early college, which is at Nashville State's campus, our big picture school, Academy at Old Cockrell, Academy at Hickory Hollow, and Academy at Opry Mills, our virtual school, our transitions program, which is housed at Bass, and then the Cone School. And so what we try to do here is just break out the budgets and costs for these non-traditional programs that we have. And again, that's found in account number 2650 in our budget. Document number 7 just shows the additional resources based upon the student assignment plan for the 9 schools that were specifically identified. This is a document we've been providing now for a number of years, and it's just for information. Document number 8 shows the breakdown of our 29 district-run charter schools, as well as the 1 State Board of Ed run KIP school and the 2 Achievement School District schools at Brick Church and Neely's Bend. For the 9 district-run charter schools, we're showing the estimated enrollment, the estimated per pupil rate, which, as I mentioned earlier, is we're estimating to go up from 9,600 per pupil to 9,800 per pupil, and then the estimated allocation out to each of our charter schools based upon their enrollment, which is a flow-through from our budget transferred to the charter schools based upon enrollment. And then at the far right, there's a column with an asterisk if the charter school is adding a grade. We have, as you can see, we have a number of charter schools that continue to add grades based upon their growth plan. And so that's why we continue, even though the board hasn't approved a new charter school in a little while, that's why we continue to see growth in our charter sector because many of those are adding an additional grade. For the state board-run charter and the Achievement School District charters, you can see from the double asterisk down below, the state allocates the revenue directly to those schools prior to disbursement to the school district. So that's basically funding that's taken off the top of our state BEP funding and then sent directly to the charters that are either in the State Board of Education run charter sector or the Achievement School District. And so we never don't see those funds. They come off the top of our state BEP funding. And then the last document that we have, document number 9, is our detailed line item budgets, 31 pages, where you can find in detail, based upon the account structure that's been in place for a number of years. You can see in columns C and D, the current year approved positions, current year budget. And then columns E and F would reflect any changes in positions or changes in budget resulting in columns G and H, which would be the proposed positions and proposed budget for next year. And then we always include in column I for remarks, where we try to provide some explanation as it relates to the positions or to what's included in some of the line items. Of course, there's no way to get into a lot of detail as it relates to some of these accounts, but we're happy to answer any questions that you may have that aren't included on these remarks. You can see at the very end that the total does show on page 31 that we are reducing by 9.5 positions overall. Our budget increase is $44.7 million, resulting in a requested budget proposal of approximately $924 million. The last document that you have is strictly for information. It's a 3-page document sorted alphabetically, so if you have an idea of what the account name may be, then hopefully you can find that account number in the detailed line item budget in document number 9. So that's an overview of the budget documents that you have, and basically the same format that you're familiar with, that we've used for a number of years. And I'm happy to either answer any questions as it relates to these documents, or to go ahead and call Dr. Majors up for him to make his presentation on the student services budget changes.
Had one question.
Here's the question.
Go ahead.
On the Cambridge grant for the pre-K, when does that expire?
My understanding is it's good for next year, and I'm not sure, Dr. Felder, is it good for just next year, and then it's a question for the next year?
One more year?
One more year. And there may be some carryover that we could continue to use, but that's part of the pre-K sustainability plan we've been working on for several years.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if someone in student assignment could be able to check this at all, but I pulled up the day 40 enrollment count that was sent to the board in December, and because of our average daily membership and our revenue comes on just K-12, correct? Mm-hmm. So I took the total number here and took out pre-K, and it looks like the total was 70,534 students. So if we're flat, is that kind of the number? I mean, we would need student assignment to verify that, but that we would be basing this budget on?
I think I've got that information over here. If I could
Sure.
pull it after Dr.
Okay.
Majors makes his presentation, I'll pull that for you. But you're correct, and I'm glad you pointed that out. The state BEP funding, as well as the student-based budgeting funding, are based on kindergarten through 12th grade.
Right, so no pre-K.
Pre-K and preschool are handled separately, so yes.
And then the other question, and the documents that we have leading up, none of those are included in student-based budgeting, is that correct, except for the student assignment additional resources that we've allocated to the schools in the Northeast? Document 7?
None of which documents?
Just the ones that we just went over, alternative schools, non-traditional schools, the pre-K, none of those are included in student-based budgeting.
Correct. The early learning centers, the alternative learning centers, the non-traditional schools, as you said, as well as the special education, the 3 special education schools, none of those it wouldn't be appropriate to use student-based budgeting for those because of the unique needs of those students in those schools. And so what they do is receive what are called direct allocations through the budget, and you can see what those direct allocations are on those separate documents.
So document number 7, though, those funds are in student-based budgeting. Is that right?
Yes, those are.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when we look at the school allocations, these extra amounts are included?
They are.
In those weights? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for me at this point before I call up Dr. Majors? Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Before I get started, I do want to make you aware of the document that was passed out a little bit earlier. It does provide a little bit more detailed information around surrounding the information I'm going to cover during my presentation this afternoon. One thing I do want to say is, as Mr. Henson already mentioned, we know this to be a lean budget year. And in order to advance Dr. Joseph's prioritization of school climate and culture reform, we have had to look at repurposing existing positions as part of the budget process. So what I'm going to try and do this afternoon is actually cover all positions that are being repurposed, how they're being repurposed, give you the actual number of support and certified positions that are being impacted, but then also to actually paint the picture of what the comprehensive picture looks like, where we're trying to go and what we're trying to accomplish. Most of the work in my department is intertwined. So, I understand you may have questions as we go. I would ask that you wait till the very end so you can see all the components of the presentation, and that may answer some of your questions for something that's presented earlier, okay? Which button am I pushing? So pretty much the purpose and the role of reprioritization is really, as I mentioned, to advance the district's efforts to improve school climate and culture. And as I mentioned, by restructuring existing positions so that they align to the district's priorities and to provide support needed for schools and for quadrants. As I mentioned earlier, we do have two types of positions that are being impacted by restructuring, the first being our certified personnel. There are actually 7 social work positions that are being proposed for repurposing this year. Those positions would then be repurposed into 7 additional positions around district priorities. Those priorities would be to add 2 behavior analysts, which provide direct services and support and training to elementary schools, school counselors. This school counselor's position is very specific and restricted to special populations, which I will cover a little bit later in the presentation in more detail. 2 coordinators for school counseling. Currently, we have over 250 school counselors. We have 2 lead counselors that are unable to provide or to complete evaluations, and 1 executive director. We are proposing to add 2 school counseling coordinators, elevate the existing 2 leads to coordinators to provide quadrant-based school counseling supervision, evaluation, and support. They will also be cross-trained in many of our SEL practices to assist with transitional services with discipline, but also professional development at the school level. We're also requesting 1 homebound teacher for special populations. This is a language that's pretty new to you. We've adopted it this year due to our requirements to provide educational services for students in non-traditional environments, meaning not in our schools, not in our ALCs, students that are in hospitals, juvenile detention, and other programs. So we are requesting 1 position there, and I can give you the specifics on those positions when I get to it. And 1 comp classroom management specialist. Currently, we have 1 comp trainer for the entire school system of 6,000 certified teachers. We're proposing to add 1 additional comp trainer. So we'll have 1 trainer for the north clusters and 1 trainer for the southern clusters. That way they can provide more ongoing quadrant-based professional development and training around the classroom management program. As you see there, that is a 7 position to 7 position restructuring. So there is a net wash of 0 in relations to the number of positions. Of course, the 7 social workers are extremely valuable. I don't want you to misunderstand my comments, but we are restructuring those roles to provide additional services, and you can see what those are. The support employees that are going to be affected. We have 12 family involvement specialists whose positions are being proposed for restructuring, as well as 16 truancy intervention specialists, resulting in a total of 28 support positions being considered for repurposing. Those positions would then be transitioned into an SEL specialist. Those specialists are quadrant-based. So you do see that there are 4 there. Each SEL specialist is cross-trained in all 3 of our Tier 1 behavior management model, PBIS, Sel Foundations, and restorative, as well as they receive a lot more support and training in the areas of trauma and adverse childhood experiences. Their role is not just to provide professional development for teachers and staff. They are also responsible for providing direct services for students and case managing students that need additional services, particularly those transitioning or maybe facing additional difficulties. The community engagement specialist is I believe Ms. Shepard asked about earlier. The 4 community engagement specialists are quadrant-based. They are actually taking the good work that's already been done by our family involvement specialists. They've done some really meaningful things in moving the dual capacity framework forward and creating some connections in the community, but they're not connected to the community achieved standards and the work already taking place in our Community Achieves framework. So moving those positions over so they're quadrant-based to continue in that work and elevating it, but in connection to the community schools work that already exists. The Community Achieves specialist is actually one of the district positions that will actually be helping to lead some of the chronic absence work, because we are going to be expanding the scope of the Community Achieves model to not just include the full service development of the hub schools, but also some citywide strategies around health indicators in partnership with Alignment's A-Team, and also the chronic absence reduction, which is a priority this year, and I'll talk more about that later. We're also adding 1 additional Community Achieves site manager. That is a school-based position that would be replicating the expansion of the full service hub model. We're repurposing the 16 truancy specialists to truancy officers. This year, with the state elevating the importance of chronic absence reduction, we do need to make a shift in how we're addressing chronic absence as a school system. The 8 officers will be elevated at a slightly higher rate of pay, but their role would also be revamped to be very focused on the compliance and petition filing side. Judge Calloway and I have been having conversations this year, as well as Magistrate Wade, who oversees MSAC, regarding the need for us to completely revamp our model and our policy and practices around chronic absence and truancy. This is the first step in that direction, and you'll see you will have 2 per quadrant. We'll also have some staff that are assigned to MSAC and juvenile court to assist with the various components of students, from loitering to juvenile crime and other issues. And I can talk a little bit about that later as well. So you'll see in relation to support employees, we have a net of 28 to 18 positions. Of course, you can see there that means we will not have enough positions for all employees to slot over. We did not make the decision to non-rehire any employees impacted by restructuring. They were notified they are eligible to apply for any positions that are open in the district. They would definitely have first priority to interview for any new positions, but we could not make the promise that every employee would be guaranteed a position. This is restructuring. So I want to be transparent and honest about that. So you'll see there's a reduction of 10 positions when you combine both support and certified. So the context around the decision. When Dr. Joseph talks about climate and culture reform, in my world, there are 14 or 15 divisions of student services that are, various things. But I actually chunked that into 6 priority areas. One being social and emotional learning reform, college and career counseling, particularly for high schools, community achieves program expansion, chronic absence and truancy reduction, alternative education reform, and special population educational services and support. What I'm showing you is pretty much now, with what we're proposing in this upcoming year's budget, this is what the full staffing component for each of these departments will look like. It's a combination of what currently exists and what we're proposing to add. All new positions you see there are in green, and the ones that you see shaded in gray at the bottom, those positions are supporting social emotional learning, but are a grant-funded position. So you'll see everything that I just went through in terms of new positions. The cluster-based analysts, we have 12. We're moving to 14, so 2 are new. The quadrant-based SEL specialists, we had none. So we're actually a 0.5, but it was more for a training position. We're actually adding 4 new positions for that work, and the classroom management specialists. We had 1. We're adding an additional, taking us to 2. All of these positions are either aligned to central office, school level, or quadrant-based support. So everywhere where it's a quadrant position, while it lives in the central office operating budget, the roles function out in the quadrants. Those people don't live here, and those who currently have temporary touchdown locations here will be placed in their quadrants. And you'll see a team structure, because the teams will no longer be just 1 or 2 employees. It will be quadrant-based counseling leadership, quadrant-based SEL leadership, as well as quadrant-based social-emotional learning leadership and restorative practice leadership, which is already in the budget. So we're building up a more comprehensive team to be more responsive for both teacher need but also student need. The non-personnel investment for SEL as we're proposing it. One of the biggest shortfalls we've had historically is we know we need to move the needle on a lot of the school climate and culture reform, work, but we haven't had the real direct investment in the professional development to get the services to the teachers. This year, Dr. Joseph has supported us really embedding the professional development in the operating budget, so it's not so heavily dependent on principals having to use their code 10 days to send teachers out for PD. So we have the opportunity to have district associated professional development, school level, quadrant, or cluster-based professional development based on the new structures we're providing. If you'll see for comp, where the number of trainings are offered there, where our goal is to reach 840 teachers. And you can see the dollar amount for that investment. And while that investment does look pretty significant, the difference is for comp, you have to purchase the manuals. It's part of the national certification requirement. So there's a pretty significant materials cost associated with that. For Sel Foundations, our goal is to reach 1,000 teachers this year. Sel's Foundations being sort of the foundational training that eventually we want all teachers to have, even if their schools select a different Tier 1 model, such as restorative or PBIS. The value of the Sel Foundations work is foundational for everything else that we're going to do in the school system. Restorative practices, our goal is to reach 900 teachers. That is a 2-day training, and you can see the investment totals there. The trauma-informed care work. MNPS has gotten a great deal of attention statewide and nationally regarding our work around trauma. You've seen that reflected in the Edgenuity series, and as recently as last week, the State Department was here talking to us and having conversations around our work around trauma-informed schools and care. And then PBIS, the Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports. Our goal is to reach 220 teachers this year, and our behavior analysts do play a significant role in furthering that training as well. So they're not just providing the on the school level support, they're providing the PD, and our psychologists have been active in some of that work as well. So when you look at the operational realignment, one of the things that we have to have a conversation about, and we started having it, it's not finalized at this point, is that we do have to have a conversation about freeing up our school psychologists to provide more than just assessment and testing of students. They are clinically licensed and they are able to do a lot of the mental health training or services for our students. So that is a conversation that we're having. At the same time, we're having a conversation about more of our counselors spending more time providing direct services for our youth as well, as opposed to providing administrative duties. The other area that we're focusing on is college and career counseling. As I mentioned, this year, our whole counseling leadership was 1 executive director and 2 leads. We're proposing to move to an executive director, a director, and 4 quadrant-based coordinators, 2 of those being new. The 15 college and career counselors that you see proposed there are federally funded. Dr. Joseph and I are working with other offices to look at how to make that happen. But basically, we're looking at 1 college and career counselor for every high school, zoned high school, 1 for MLK, 1 for Hume Fogg, and a 0.5 for NSA in East Nashville. So that way they're receiving the college and career services as well. The main thing is we can't wait till our kids are seniors to expose them to post-secondary college and career opportunities. We've got to start that process in the 9th grade, work with them over, and be very intentional about having our kids exposed to the college and career and post-secondary experiences. The non-personnel investment is around the Naviance College and Career Software Program, which will be accessible both in school and out of school. Counselors at all levels will be able to access that.
And please explain what that is to the general public, just to understand what Naviance does.
Well, Naviance is everything from a credit. It's multiple components, and I may have to ask Dr. Felder or Cito to get involved in answering this. It's credit recovery, it's first-time credit, it's access to services to help students exposed to college. We will use it in multiple ways, to be completely honest with you. So not only will it serve the college exposure or the college experience, it will also be used to help some of our students that are struggling and need alternatives to educational services. So we're looking at the Naviance program to satisfy multiple needs within the district. This software package was promoted as the one that could fill multiple needs for us.
And it also allows for us to get transcripts to college pretty easily, so students can apply and get to college. But it also helps them in terms of learning about different college experiences, learning about what different colleges offer. They have virtual tours that they can see. It is an exemplary toolkit for students who are exploring college options, and it also provides opportunities for them to identify scholarship dollars because there's a component there that helps with that.
Yeah, and it's very comprehensive, as Dr. Joseph was mentioning, and that correlates to the director of school counseling position, because one of the things we want to do a better job of is monitoring student credits over their high school experience to eliminate errors and make sure students are completing pathways and their state required pathways prior to their senior year. So there's a lot of compliance built into this request as well. The Community Achieves program expansion, I've hit a lot of this already. Fully funded, we'll have 1 director, 2 specialists, 1 Community Achieves specialist. That would actually move to 2. I'm sorry, that's a typo on my part. 18 school-based Community Achieves site managers. We're expanding by 1, and then 4 quadrant-based community engagement specialists that I referenced earlier. This is significant. The chronic absence prioritization is one of the new priorities we're focusing on with Community Achieves. That is where we're going to contract through the use of federal funds with communities in schools. We're going to target 13 to 20 elementary schools, part of that being a public ed foundation pilot in 5 schools, where we're really going to identify those high-need schools based on their chronic absence percentages and provide the case management of chronically absent students. This will all be done under the Community Achieves umbrella, with Community in Schools serving as a partner to do that case management, and they will still refer students and families to additional supports and services. The Chronic Absence and Truancy Initiative, again, I already talked a lot about that with the truancy specialists, but the biggest issue is with the change at the Tennessee State Department of Ed, chronic absent now counts 10% towards each school's adequate yearly progress. The main thing with that is we have to push some of the responsibility back to schools to monitor the daily attendance and address some of the chronic absence issues in their building. Our investment is going to be a little bit more on the compliance component of really filing the petitions and working with the courts. And the court's stance is to remove the taint of criminality. So it's not about punishing kids. It's about getting services in place as quickly as possible. But this is a strong partnership with juvenile court, and those 8 truancy officers will be instrumental in doing that. The alternative education reform. The district, in partnership with OASIS, NOAA, and several other agencies, have really been working on rebranding the alternative learning model we have in the school system. When I say alternative learning, I'm talking about the disciplinary placements, virtual school, and the cone school. So I'm not talking about the academies and some of the other programs. We are actually in the process of trying to develop a 3 to 5 year reform plan, but we do want to start now because we've been talking about this as an area of need for some time. One of the things we want to start with is providing additional services through contracting with STARS to provide some of the behavioral and mental health support in our ALCs. We're also in working with juvenile court and other agencies looking at a second chance type model that can be piloted within our current ALC structure. A few other changes, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, that you'll see when we talk about the handbook, is we are making some changes with some attendance requirements regarding alternative learning in our school system that juvenile court has said that they can support, as well as some other things that we're looking at regarding transportation to make sure our children that need alternative programs have access and are able to attend and actually required to attend. The special populations group that I talked about earlier, there's a few things that have happened of late. The state has changed the law regarding who the LEA is for juvenile justice educational services. The school system has now been assigned as the LEA again. So we will be working with juvenile court to provide the educational services in juvenile court, the juvenile detention center. But we're also working with the foster care system. We have 275 students that matriculate through the foster care system in MNPS. Those students some are 17 and 18 and aging out of the program. Others are at different ages. The issue is they're so mobile, we haven't really put our hands around those students to making sure they're getting the services that they need and their credits are aligned so they stay on pace for graduation. We're proposing to add a school counselor for foster care special populations. Their role would be exclusively to work with the foster care providers and DCS to make sure we are keeping track and transition our students appropriately, but also to make sure that they're being placed in the right locations. Some of our students are having enrollment difficulties, and we're trying to eliminate that barrier. We're also looking at adding 1 FTE for homebound services. That would actually be a 0.5 for Monroe Carroll and a 0.5 for Vanderbilt Psychiatric. And we only have the 2016-17 data, but we had 729 students hospitalized at Monroe Carroll during that year. And we have a significant number of students that are receiving psychiatric services for various reasons. They are required by law to receive educational services. To this point, we've only had 1.5 staff assigned to provide educational services for those students. We're requesting that we elevate the number of staff that are providing educational services while the students are receiving the medical care that they need. And that concludes my presentation. I'm sorry, that was a lot to cover in a very short time.
Thank you. Any questions? Mary?
I mean, it's very comprehensive, Tony, thank you. But I'm curious to know how this was developed and who all was involved in the development.
So the development really came from having conversations with Dr. Joseph, Dr. Felder, Dr. Narcisse, and then my leadership team. Really looking at, based on where we projected to have the resources, what could we expand, but also around the issue of what our biggest needs were. We did realize we need to make some change in practice, but we also need to look at how do we align the resources to the key priorities. So it was more internal than anything.
But can we also talk about, so we meet monthly with NOAA. And one of the conversations that we have had with NOAA as we've been working through is how do we have a much more comprehensive approach to how we're working with students, particularly our neediest students, particularly working to eliminate the school-to-prison pipeline. So as we have worked and developed, and I want to thank Eric Huth, who is a part of that work. We have been meeting monthly very closely and having open conversations and working through. NOAA participated in they had a number of community forums as we've gone out and listened to individuals, and then we've come back together and worked with them collaboratively. And then they have worked with Dr. Majors. So as Dr. Majors was developing the plan and gathering feedback, they were actively in the process, I guess, if you will, and just in terms of being clear about what it is we were trying to do and the hows and whys as we were working through.
In addition to NOAA, the passage work, the committee has been working on passage for the last 3 to 5 years.
And can
Several
you
of
just
these
remind everybody of what Passage is?
Passage is our school discipline reform initiative through Annenberg. I think we're sunsetting on that initiative here in the next year or so. But a lot of these recommendations have been discussed with Passage over the last 3 to 5 years.
Okay, what about people on the ground? Like, I hope that the volunteers from NOAA will spend a lot of time in our schools, but what about principals and teachers and the counselors in the schools?
And I can jump in. I've had the opportunity to speak with, I want to say, maybe about 150 to 200 students. I went around and did a student listening tour. And in listening to students, a lot of the recommendations that are here come from the different needs that we heard from those exceptional conversations. In addition, I have had the opportunity to hear from our principals. We do have an advisory council for principals that comes together monthly, and everything that we do in all of this gets vetted through them. Now, what we have learned is that the information from those councils don't always get out to all principals and back and forth, and that's a correction that we will make in the coming years, because we have principal conversations, just like we have teacher conversations, but those loops, they're not from the meeting. It's not getting out to all principals and all principals having feedback. We do have a structure where we meet with principals monthly, and in those monthly meetings, they have an opportunity to come together as high schools, middle schools, and elementaries, and then they also reorganize into their quad clusters. So there are 2 types of conversations that happen there. In that structure, there is a design for the advisory committees to be able to report out to principals on what's been happening in those conversations to gather feedback. But we recognize that that hasn't been consistent, and that's something that we want to make sure we follow through. So the structure's there. We've got to utilize the structure more effectively. But we feel confident that this plan has gotten input from students, and as you know, we did the 3rd round, I believe, 2nd or 3rd, I'm sorry. I run so much I can't remember. We've had a number of rounds of listen and learns with teachers. And as we have gone through the different areas with teachers' comments have come up there as it relates to the need for more resource for social, emotional learning and supports and things of that nature. So between those venues, we gathered enough information to feel like we can put a comprehensive proposal together that really gets to the needs of what we hear and what we see and feel as we've gone through schools.
And Ms. Pierce, if you don't mind, I think I might know where you're trying to go with your question. At the beginning, I said there's a lot of interdependency within my department. And I touched on a lot of the things that we're going to be making some shifts that are not budget impacted, but really more about how do we change some of our operating practices. We know that some schools will experience some potential difficulty in responding. However, one of the things we're doing is, number one, we're restructuring the role of our counselors. Our counselors have the ability to provide more direct services as well. We're also looking at restructuring the role and services provided by our psychologists. So that provides 2 other personnel providing more direct services. Our social workers still receive a great large number of our referrals, but we're also elevating behavior analysts. So we're adding pieces to take the burden off of a single classification so that we can meet the diverse needs of all of our students. So it is a very comprehensive piece. I couldn't get that deep in the weeds today.
I have a question. Could you just go back and say something about how the truancy affects the annual yearly progress? And
Yes, ma'am.
what are the penalties? Are there penalties or?
Well, we don't know what that is. But as they evaluate each school, each year, and I may not be adequate yearly progress, I may be a little bit antiquated language, but each year, chronic absence will count 10% towards each individual school's performance for that year. I don't know if there's a punitive, I don't know the rating scale at this point, but I know the state has identified chronic absence as a 10% indicator towards every
Of the
school.
state goals.
Yes, ma'am. So that's why we're looking at, we know that we have an issue with chronic absence, but we also know you can't do that, you can't solve that solely externally by relying on cluster support staff. Schools have to be more actively involved in that work on a regular basis, and then we have to have very strong partnerships with the court to actually eliminate gaps in filing to make sure that we are completing the process in accordance with state law.
So I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what my colleague, Ms. Pierce, was talking about. At DuPont Hadley and Two Rivers Middle Schools, they both have outstanding Community Achieves programs, and the coordinators are, in my personal opinion, are rock stars. They are really, they know how to get the community involved in those schools, and they do a really good job. And so I'm hoping that we are also talking with all those people on the front lines, because they're the ones that are working the work and, making sure that those programs are successful and those kids get what they need. So I'm hopeful that I think that's where she was going, and that's definitely where I'm going.
Well, and to your point, yes, we actually want to draw on the best practices throughout the district, throughout my department. We have people, we know that geographically our quadrants have very different needs.
Right.
We have best practices embedded throughout our school system. We want to take those and make sure we're identifying and utilizing the best practices based on the needs of that community. And the other thing that I did mention that you may not have heard is the National Coalition of Community Schools has adopted national standards now for the first time. MNPS's Community Achieves model is aligned to those standards. Parent and community engagement and college and career readiness are two of the 4 focus areas for Community Achieves anyway. So aligning all these services under that central structure to me just makes sense because it eliminates redundancy, but makes sure that we're aligned to a standards-based focus that's aligned to the district's key performance indicators.
Jill.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter. Thank you, Tony, for this presentation. You mentioned the professional development that these groups will get to participate in, like classroom management and restorative practices, and a number of people you will train. Will this professional development be handled at the school level? Will it be by people who are already on our staff? Will we have to use outside consultants? What you're thinking?
It's actually it's a D. It's a little bit of all of the above. We have the structure that I proposed to you actually allows for quadrant-based and cluster-based training and support. We already have some school-level staff that are fully trained. The SEL specialists and restorative specialists can tailor either a quadrant-based training or a school-wide training. Last year, the greatest majority of our training happened at the school level, with principals carving out time either on PD days or in an after-school space doing faculty meetings. So it's a little bit of both. We've also set the structure up to go ahead and account for district-wide PD. So while we may have trainings at the quadrants or at a school, we have staff that may also provide training at Martin or at another location. So we want to make sure, in order for us to get to 6,000 teachers in an amount of time that makes sense, 6 years to get to 6,000 teachers, we won't move the needle. We've got to do this as quickly as possible, but as thoroughly as possible. So I want to make sure that we have the capacity to do both school level, cluster, quadrant, and district. So it's a little bit of all.
So the goal is to do all this training within the next academic year.
We will not get to everybody in one academic year. I think in all honesty, it will take us 3 years to get to the point where we can feel the, feel the leverage of the training. I think we should see outcomes immediately, however. Schools that were early adopters and are implementing with fidelity, we've seen significant change in growth in year 1. We want to make sure we're getting out to all of our schools.
Dr. Majors, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the anticipated touch would be 3,050 students next year?
Our goal is 2,500 to 3,000, not students, teachers trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2,500 to 3,000 teachers trained, and that was broken down on the slide where I listed out number of trainings, and that's based on 30 staff members registering per training. So I said it's a goal. I did not include in those numbers trainings where principals may do faculty meetings. It could be more. It's hard to say right now, but we've established a goal of 2,500 to 3,000 staff. And we'll be working with human resources with the new teacher induction process to make sure that new teachers are trained on Sel Foundations. We think that's a lever of change if we're hiring 500 new teachers a year.
I have a question, if you don't mind. How are you all targeting the 2,500 to 3,000? Are you looking at specific schools that maybe have a high incident rate? Are you looking at specific quadrants?
It goes back to my comment about we're setting up for different levels of implementation. At the school level, a principal may choose to do whole faculty. The principal may say, I have a few teachers that need additional work assistance in comp. It may be where we have a cluster that comes together to do a training, which we have had that happen. So it's a little bit of a mix. we want to keep the district side open and the quadrant side open so that any teacher wanted to go to the training can do so. The one thing is this year was the first year we required all schools to have a Tier 1 or a school-wide behavior management plan. They had 3 choices: restorative practices, Sel Foundations, and PBIS. We are just now getting to teachers. Some schools were faster. The goal year 1 was to have administrators and deans trained. This year, we're really pushing out to the faculty piece. We'll allow a lot of customization at the school level with principals, but we want to have the standalones for teachers that can sign up as needed. But we did want to take the burden off principals with their code days. That's why the budget's built the way it is.
And then I have another question about the college and career readiness. So there's an executive director and then there's a director. What's the difference between the 2 roles?
That's school counseling. That's the school
I'm sorry,
counseling.
yeah.
Yeah, they're listed. That's where the 15 college and career counselors are listed, but that's the counseling office. The executive director is responsible for all aspects: strategic planning, program implementation, managing the budget. That's the role of the executive director. This director's position is being developed clearly around student records compliance and auditing, but also to help with the supervision of the 15 new college and career counselors. We have to really work with post-secondary and college and career, organizations to really develop what this student experience is going to look like. And that position would help work with those 15 individuals to develop the model.
And this was something that came as a result of, many things, but one, Ms. Shepard and I had the opportunity to visit a high school together. And one of the principals was discussing the fact that his counselors are so consumed with the need to go back and just do, he calls it kind of busy work, that's a result of things that come to make sure we're in compliance, that they can't get to their work. So this position can help clear that up, because one of the things we continuously hear is that counselors don't have time to counsel because they're caught in the minutia, and we've got to help them with that. So we take a 2-pronged approach. 1, have somebody to help clear some of those barriers, and 2, get some counselors in school with their sole purpose to really be on top of the students and making sure they understand the college and career options that are available for them in this great city, in this great state.
One more question. Will we be able to get a list of all the schools? I know on this Community Achieves page, I know we've seen them before. How many are there total?
18.
18. And then you'll be adding the CIS schools. That's an additional 13? And then
Right now it's
another
an additional
5?
13 to 18.
13 to 18. Would it be possible going forward, and this is more probably a Dr. Changus, when we have academic achievement results, if they can be highlighted or asterisk, something that denotes that they're a community chief school or CIS component, just because the ultimate goal obviously is it will ultimately impact higher student achievement and learning and growth. So thank you.
Yes, we can. And the reason I didn't include the names of the schools is we wanted to get this year's data at the end of the year before we make a final determination on what schools have the highest degree of need. But we have run where we are year to date, so we have a good idea.
Thank you, Dr. Majors and Mr. Henson. This concludes our meeting.
We'll take a 5-minute break, and then we'll start the actual board meeting.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.